Hey lovelies, 2018 is now well underway, which means if you're anything like me, it is time to start thinking about getting your eating back on track. And of course, as you know, the best way to do this, as far as I'm concerned, is with meal prep. So today I've got 5 awesome healthy meal prep ideas that are easy to put together and that you can be enjoying all week long. We're kicking things off with a really beautiful, crunchy rainbow meal prep. Now, this one features my tasty herb and garlic quinoa, a plethora of beautiful rainbow-colored vegetables, and then some really simple but really delicious herb and garlic chicken. I'm gonna get started by mixing up my quinoa. Now, if you've never cooked quinoa, it's really simple. It's 2 parts water to 1 part quinoa. You always have the option to use broth instead of water if you wanna add a little bit of flavor. Then to take it a step further, I like to add a little bit of freshly grated garlic to my quinoa, some freshly chopped parsley, and a good helping of salt and pepper. Once that's all stirred together, we can transfer it to the base of our meal prep box and then start layering in our veggies. Now, in this case, like I said, I'm using a combination of some shredded red cabbage, some thinly chopped carrots, some yellow bell pepper, some beautiful cucumber, and finally, for a little pink hue, I love adding radish. Now, I'm sort of obsessed with the peppery nature of radish, but if you are not a fan, you could always swap in some red bell pepper here. Now, because all of these veggies are so hearty, you can go ahead and build this box 2 or 3 days in advance and not worry about your vegetables getting soggy, which is always a big bonus. To dress these rainbow veggies, we are going to mix some olive oil with a little apple cider vinegar, some honey, and some salt and pepper. I love keeping these dressings really, really simple. This is a great combination of sweet and tart. You know I'm a big fan of that combination. We'll whisk that together and then pour it over our veggies. Once again, you don't have to worry about any of them getting soggy. Finally, we'll layer in some protein into this box. In this case, I am adding my herbed chicken breast. Now, I like to keep things simple. I just drizzle on a little bit of olive oil, sprinkle on some garlic powder, some dried thyme, oregano, and basil, and then hit it with some salt and pepper. Into the oven it goes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit until it reaches an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. That should take between 25 and 30 minutes, but it really depends on your oven. Then I just slice it up and lay it on top of my meal prep. You'll definitely wanna make sure, because of that chicken, that you enjoy this box within 2 or 3 days of making it. But my goodness, how amazing does that look? That's a lunch you can feel good about. Next, we're celebrating lunch with some really beautiful southwestern flavors. I am starting with some cilantro lime rice and then topping it off with these amazing chili stuffed peppers. Now, the peppers are a great low carb option, so if you are on a low carb diet, you will definitely enjoy these. And if that's the case, you always have the option to replace the rice in this meal prep using some mixed greens instead. To make my cilantro lime rice, as I'm sure you can imagine, I basically have to combine some lime zest and juice, some salt and pepper, and some cilantro into some cooked white rice. I'm just going to give that all a good stir and then layer in the base of my container. To make my chili stuffed peppers, I'm going to start by, of course, making some chili. I've got a skillet heating up on the stove with just a little bit of oil. To that, I'm going to add some onion, cook that until it's nice and soft and translucent. I'm going to add some minced garlic to that. We'll let that get nice and fragrant. After about 30 seconds or so, it'll be time to add our turkey. In this case, I am using turkey, but you always have the option to use ground beef if you wanted to, or veggie crumbles if you want to keep this dish vegetarian. Definitely up to you. While we're browning that turkey, we're of course going to season it up with a little salt and a little bit of pepper. Then, once it's completely browned, we can hit it with a good amount of chili powder. You wanna let that chili powder heat up for maybe 30 seconds or so, just to help it reach its maximum flavor potential. Then you can add your red kidney beans and some diced tomatoes. As those diced tomatoes simmer away, they will start to lose a lot of their liquid because of evaporation. And what you'll end up with is this really rich and flavorful filling that is perfect for stuffed peppers. Now, I am a big fan of stuffing my peppers sideways as opposed to top down. I find they cook a lot better that way. So I have essentially cut my peppers in half, removed the cores, and I'm just going to use a spoon to transfer my stuffing into my peppers. Then I'm going to get them into the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for for between 15 and 20 minutes. Because our filling is cooked, we're really just looking for that pepper to start to soften up. Once those peppers are nice and soft, you can get these out of the oven, top them with a little bit of shredded cheddar cheese. And really, as long as you do this when they're still hot, you don't even have to worry about putting them back in the oven. The cheese will melt on contact. You can then transfer these into your lunch boxes. I'm just going to sprinkle them with a little bit of fresh cilantro, and there you have it. Southwestern meal prep. Oh, so delicious. A lot of people ask me about how to reheat these meal preps when it's time to eat them. In the case of these peppers, you can definitely either eat them completely cold, that's actually how I eat them, or just add a teaspoon or so of water to the dish to help add a little bit of extra moisture and bring everything back to life, and then put it in the microwave for between 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes. There you have it. This meal prep is guaranteed to make you the envy of the lunchroom. Next, I've got an incredible vegan bowl that you guys, I think, are going to absolutely love. It's a chickpea and dill bowl, and it all starts with the most amazing dill chickpea salad. The secret ingredient here, I must admit, is dill pickle. I'm not sure if you're a big dill pickle fans. I definitely am, and this is an incredible way to use them you might not have thought of. In my bowl, I am starting with my chickpeas. These are canned chickpeas that I have rinsed and drained. To that, I am going to add some serious crunch factor with some finely chopped cucumber and celery. Next, I'm adding a whole lot of pickle and a little bit of finely chopped red onion. Of course, if you have any important meetings in the afternoon, you can go ahead and leave that onion out, but I think it really, really adds to the flavor of this dish. Then we are going to dress this salad directly in the bowl. How great is that? Fewer dishes for everyone. I am starting, instead of regular vinegar in this recipe, with some dill pickle brine. You can really use as much or as little as you want, but trust me, it takes the flavor of this way over the top. Next, I am going to add some olive oil. I've got some Dijon mustard, some freshly chopped dill, and some salt and pepper. We will give this all a really good stir and then transfer it into our dish over a beautiful bed of spinach. Now, if you wanted to make this a little more filling, you always have the option to serve it over some cooked brown rice or some cooked quinoa, but I think serving it over spinach keeps it nice and light and fresh. Perfect lunch. Now, I have to tell you, despite the fact that our entire team is not vegan, everyone said that this was their favorite of all the meal preps we did. That's a seriously big deal around here. Okay, back to business. Next, if you are looking to up the protein factor in your life, I think you are going to love this tuna salad meal prep. It's loaded with great flavor and great crunch, and of course, tons of great nutrients. First up, we are going to build our base salad, and that is going to be a combination of nice crunchy romaine lettuce with some thinly sliced radish and some crunchy celery on top. Next, we are going to mix up a really simple but flavorful tuna salad. I'm starting with some sustainable tuna in a bowl. To that, I am going to add some finely chopped red onion, a little bit of lemon pepper seasoning, which I absolutely love when served with tuna, and just a tablespoon or two of mayo. If you are not into using mayo in this recipe, you can absolutely sub in some plain Greek yogurt instead. You get the same great effect, but with a lot less fat. Totally your call. We'll mix that up really well and then add a scoop on top of our salad. And then to finish this meal prep off, we are going to pump up the protein even further with a boiled egg. I'll hit that with a little salt and pepper. And then instead of a heavy dressing, because we already have the mayo in our tuna salad, I'm just gonna serve this with a beautiful lemon wedge. Super fresh, super filling, super good for you. Excellent. Finally today, for one of my all-time favorite meals, we are whipping up a big batch of beef and broccoli. This is an Asian-inspired dish. It's super good served either hot or cold, which is why I really actually love it for lunch. To get started with our beef and broccoli, we are going to mix up a tasty sauce. This starts with some beef broth. To that, I am going to add some soy sauce, some hoisin sauce, a little bit of cornstarch to help thicken everything up, and then some minced garlic and grated ginger, all very classic Asian flavors. We'll mix all of this up and set it aside while I turn my attention to my frying pan. I've got some oil heating up in my frying pan. Once your oil is nice and hot, you can add your strips of beef to your pan. The idea is to cook them on both sides until they are beautifully browned. Then you can pop your broccoli florets right into your skillet and pour over your sauce. Pop the lid on this and then let it cook up for 2 or 3 minutes. The idea here is all of that amazing moisture is going to help to steam that broccoli so it becomes nice and bright green and tender. And the sauce, thanks to that cornstarch, will get nice and thick and really coat everything beautifully. We'll give this 1 or 2 more tosses and then it is ready to serve. I like serving it on a bed of cooked white rice and then topping it off with some beautiful sesame seeds for a little additional crunch and some finely chopped green onion. Holy smokes, guys, that is lunch you'll love. I promise. You can also eat it for dinner. Eat it for breakfast if you want to. I don't judge. Guys, I really hope you found these meal prep ideas inspiring and that they help you reach your healthy eating goals. And now that 2018 has arrived, keep in mind I'll actually be back in a few days with even more great meal prep ideas, so be sure to stay tuned for those. All of the full recipes are in the description box below, so you can go ahead and take a look for them there. And guys, don't forget my brand new Healthy Meal Plan 2018 ebook is now available in my Etsy store. I will leave a link in the description box below. It, I think, is our best ebook yet. It is loaded with more than 100 recipes, plus 4 full weekly meal plans to help you get your eating back on track in the new year. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.